Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bearded Respect, number 119.
Hey, everybody. Good evening.
What's up? Hey, Jason, you want to say hi to these fine people in the chat here?
Yeah, I'll start with this guy. He's probably not here to hear us say hi, but yeah, catch us on the replay and have a safe trip, E. And then there's Mrs. Bruce City Becky was second.
Hey, honey.
Becky.
Yep, catch us on the replay.
Hello, Becky.
Hey, Ray. Good to see you.
What's up, Ray?
Hello there.
Oh,
I'm going to skip this guy because he's on the screen. He's after a lot of comments.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Got him!
There he is. I'll say it. Here we got Phil, Bearding on a Budget.
What's up, Phil?
Steven, Bearded Chief.
Hey,
What's up,
Chief.
Chief?
No way.
Jacob. Hey, Jacob.
How's it going?
What's up, Jacob?
Excellent!
Hey, Bob and Terry. I didn't get to watch that video yet, but of Mike's YouTube channel.
Oh,
I didn't get to watch that yet.
yeah, Bob and Terry. How's it going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-care hangout. How's it
Hey,
going?
Max.
Well, Max.
Hello.
William. Good to see you.
What's up, William?
Hey, William.
JJP.
Jose.
You. Hey, Dynamite.
What's up, Dynamite?
Hey, Dynamite.
Hello.
Tony T. Good to see you.
Tony.
Hey, Tony, thanks for joining us.
Hello, neighbor.
Actually got to meet him.
Hey. Oh, yeah?
Flannelpalooza. He's now a member of my beard club.
Hmm. Hey, Big Stu.
What's up, Chris?
You doing, Stu?
No way.
Hey, Chris.
Hello there,
Yeah.
Drew.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Robert.
Robert.
What's up, Robert?
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Say hello to my little friend.
Hey, Toll Booth Willie.
Toll Booth Willie.
Oh.
Do they have toll booths anymore?
Maybe I am insane.
Uh,
Maybe I am
some
insane.
might, but yeah, most of them are drive-through.
Yeah, you just pay online now.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Me?
Cajun family.
Okay.
Yeah, Roy, just keep on driving.
Yep.
Your safety's more important than us.
Hey, Bayou Beard Life. Hey, Will.
Oh, you're not late.
What's up,
Still
Will?
doing it.
Oh, there's that silent Robert again.
Pretty quiet.
Hey, there's the Edgar Team Hard Life.
I don't have friends.
You guys.
I got family.
Edgar, thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
Hey, Triple B.
How you doing?
Scott, you're here early.
The other Scott.
Yeah. And we're caught up so far.
Wow. Very cool.
Uh-oh.
Well, we've got a pretty a good guest tonight. Danny
Return
Mayberry from one veteran, 1 mile. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
1 mile,
Oh,
one veteran.
Is it?
1 mile, one veteran.
I had a feeling I said it backwards.
Mhm.
But we also kind of have an announcement for tonight.
Hmm.
Before we get to our guest, we now we have a merch shop open, so you can buy hats and shirts and sweatshirts and
Coffee cups,
yes, there are coffee cups.
stickers,
We're not done adding stuff, but we've
aprons.
is the apron still up there? I thought I took it down.
Oh, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it might still be up there.
Oh, okay. You might not be able to get an apron. Tumblers.
So I put a link in the chat. Also,
Merch.
I got a few hats, Phil,
pinned to that.
but it's not this hat. My
No.
possible future son-in-law had this one made for me.
That's a 101.
Yep. Well, it's a one of two because he got
Oh.
one made for himself.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Well, here I can share this right quick. Oh, here's what the page kind of looks like.
Hey,
The old-
Brandon.
Hello. So y'all know you got to the right place. You click on the page.
Big, bald,
Yes,
and
true.
beautiful. There's all kinds of merch.
Yeah, there's all kinds of
Direct
stuff for you to check out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and then like if you click on the on the picture, like if you look at that black T-shirt in the bottom right corner, then you can see the different colored dots. You can get whatever
Yeah,
color.
Click on that shirt, show them the back. Or that is the back. Right?
Second.
So our logo is on the back of the t-shirts, and then on the front is a smaller logo.
And then there's all kinds of colors here, and you can change the color of the shirt to whatever you like.
Wow, look at all those colors.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And all the proceeds to that will go to this channel for either equipment or giveaways, or if we get a bunch in there, Chris, it's through a site called Spread Shop. Not My Spreads.
My Spread Shop.
Yeah. But it's a pretty cool site. It's one my beard club uses. That's how I learned about it. So
show them the Three Amigos shirt.
oh.
That's a sweatshirt.
It might be on that other screen, TBR1, if that's all TBR2.
This is supposed to be all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
There we go.
Yeah, the Three Amigos.
But look around, and we'll be making changes to stuff.
Oh, can you show the coffee cup? Someone wants a coffee cup.
That one should be fine. Oh, here's an apron and a tote bag.
Oh, there you go. Tote bag.
Thanks, Chris.
There's a
Water
bottle and a couple of different coffee mugs.
Yeah,
A
camp mug and ceramic.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Yep. So do we have anything else to share before the show takes off?
I got one quick little thing for you guys. So Gus is going to be 1 year old on the 18th. And my daughter decided to weigh him last night. He's up to 73.3 pounds now.
Wow.
So, yeah. Getting pretty big.
That's hefty.
And he's still, he's still just a pup, and he's clumsy old baby Huey running around the house. Boy, when he gets his zoomies, watch out. He'll knock you over. If he runs into your leg, you're going down. But that's all I had.
Well, Mike, you want to talk about our guest?
Sure, yeah. Danny boy, who he was a guest on our show on September 22nd, 2022. So about a year and a half ago. And he is, we're lucky to have him back on the show. He's kind of in between traveling right now. He's been around the world. So let's catch up with him.
What's going on? My Spreads Hop. I love it, man. That's an awesome shop.
Thanks, Triple B.
Awesome, Triple B. So, Danny, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
I know I'm doing kind of fantastic. I every time I watch your show, I always kind of feel bad because I still don't have a beard. I tried it. You had a couple pictures up there with a budding beard.
Yeah.
Was doing the oils and everything, and then I don't know. I just could never maintain it. Being on the road so much, it's been a pretty wild journey. I think that was one of the hardest things to maintain.
Wow.
Well, at least you gave it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Well,
Hey, it was really funny the day that I shaved it. I think I was telling you guys, like, my wife might be against me growing an actual beard, and I had one for probably about 6, 7, maybe 8 months of the travels. And the night that I shaved it, I didn't tell her. I just came out clean shaven, and she got really upset. She said she missed it.
Well, Danny, you look great, man. You look great.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We've been doing a mile a day. What's that?
I said you look good with or without the beard.
Appreciate it. You know, the thing with the beard, the other thing that I forgot to mention, we were up in Canada for 3 months because we wanted a Canadian winter. And the first week there, the beard started freezing. Like my mustache, my beard, like it was frozen on my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't call you guys and be like, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I install a space heater? What's going on?
Yeah, come out from the cold once in a while and warm it up.
Mm.
You gonna have this all night?
I hope not.
I'm going to be annoyed if this is happening all night. I've got a secure connection. It's here.
Yeah, we've never had
what's
that
going on.
happen to a guest before.
Yeah, that's weird.
Just,
if it happens again, I'm going to switch to my phone.
Okay.
I mean, all it's doing is kicking you off the screen. You're still in the green room, and all I got to do is click you back in, and you're there. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It says I have 4 bars.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been a really good life. You know, we've a lot's happened since September 2022.
Yeah.
We've driven across the country in our little Ford Fiesta. Lived in France and Greece and just got back from traveling for a month around Europe. Lived up in Canada for the winter. Saw the fall foliage. And the most amazing thing that's been happening is veterans and other people have been finding our 1 Mile 1 Veteran program, listening to the podcast and getting out there on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, not that you paid attention in your travels because it's not necessarily your forte, but did you notice in the different countries you were at what the beard culture was like? Did you notice, was there a lot of beards in other parts of the world, or didn't you really pay attention?
So where we were at, I will say America has a different type of beard culture. When I was overseas, everything was a little bit scraggly. So like if men did have facial hair, it was scraggly. They did not embrace it. Other than Canada. Canada, like, I mean, those guys are just mountain men, lumberjacks. Although we were in French-speaking Canada, so there wasn't as many. But as soon as I started heading a little west, people had some good facial hair. But Europe, not so much. I didn't notice anything. But there was one guy, but I think he was from Texas, had a nice mustache.
So what took you to
do you guys have a different experience?
Greece and Italy?
I've never been out of the United States.
Gotcha. So I mean, as I shared on the first time, my wife and I were working on selling our home first time we talked in order to fund our podcast for 1.5 to 2 years. And it's all about trying to get people healthy in an effort to help prevent veteran suicide and just suicide as a whole. And our house finally sold that following February. and it gave us enough money to start traveling. But to make the dollar stretch as long as it could, we had to go live cheaply in other places throughout the world. So we rented a place in France for $1,000 a month, a place in Greece for $1,000 for the month. We had a free stay in Egypt. And so the other part of this process wasn't just like, oh, we can go travel and live cheaply. But I mean, I have PTSD, social anxiety, depression, and I needed to push myself beyond my comfort zones to see what I was capable of, because I'm sitting here telling people, go walk a mile a day and your life will change. And I needed to kind of go prove it, because if I was just sitting in Hawaii, working the same job, kind of weighing the same amount, eating the same foods, my life wasn't really changing. It was pretty stagnant and I was happy with it. But I needed to change. The doctor was telling me my labs were bad. My heart was in danger. My liver was in danger. I was dealing with routine depression and PTSD symptoms. We weren't going out often. And I was like, all right, well, let me put this into practice. And let me put this into practice on the road and just kind of do some exposure therapy out there. And that's what we did. We put me to the test. Came back 50 pounds lighter, able to do 30 pull-ups in a workout.
Awesome.
And yeah, and the amazing thing is, like, talk about those bouts of depression. They don't hold me down. They don't keep me in bed all day anymore. We have 3 or 4 people that reached out directly saying that their lives. Saved and changed because of our program.
Nice.
For the Bearded Respect audience, I am really sorry, guys. We just we're staying in a small Airbnb. They told us the Wi-Fi connection was iffy, so I hooked up to my cell phone hotspot, which is pretty good. But for whatever reason, it keeps kicking me back to the green room.
Yeah, never seen that before.
So where are you now?
We are back in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got back in Hawaii this week. Lost a dear friend on the way home. So attended a funeral on Monday and landed in Hawaii on Tuesday. And I'm actually my wife's going to continue producing the podcast. I'm going to continue hosting it. We're going to keep leading walking groups and putting together another Spartan team for a Spartan race out here in August.
Nice.
And then I'm going to be working a full-time job starting on Monday.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So it'll be a new development. I haven't worked a full-time job in about 2 years since my last health scare.
Yeah. Okay. On Oahu?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I know we're actually about to head over to Maui. I don't know if our Maui friend's in here, but we're heading over to Maui for the weekend.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, it's my sister-in-law's birthday, so we're gonna go see her and my now brother. But yeah, we're back home in Hawaii. I got to do some runs this week, swim in the ocean this morning at like 6 a.m. It's good to be home.
So out of all your travels, if you have one, do you have a favorite country that you visited?
So it's kind of hard to say, because we saw a lot of history, and that was a lot of what we wanted to do, was see a lot of history. But out in Hawaii, we have people that live with aloha, and it's just the way the community is. And we've only experienced, and it's why we choose to live out here. It's why we've chosen to live out here for as long as we have, is how the people are. The only other time we experienced a community like this was in Greece. But I'll tell you, it was Greece is also extremely hilly.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if I was a fan of that.
So that
because not only walking, you've been running, actually. You've been, you're
yeah, and
running, not walking.
Yeah, and so actually my walking had really started in Greece, because before that, like I was a comfortable jogger, and then I ended up putting on about 20 or 30 pounds since the last time we had chatted, and I tried to go for a run in Greece, and my knees, my hips, everything hurt, and I just couldn't do it. And so that was when I had committed. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna walk 1 mile a day, nothing more, nothing less. That's gonna be my exercise, because I'm getting my butt whooped. And we just started building on that 1 mile. We did 1 mile a day for about 2 months straight before I started doing other stuff like running. But yeah, man, now I'm down 50 pounds. Sloppy Syndicate show. So 1 Mile, One Veteran. What we do is we share veteran stories in a 20 to 24 minute episode, which is the average time it takes to walk a mile. We ask our listeners to walk 1 mile while listening to the episode, get inspired, and then we ask them to reach out to somebody else. Because here's the thing with mental health and suicide is that suicide specifically affects 48% of Americans, and affects even more people worldwide. The problem is we don't say the word. We don't call people and just check in on a regular basis, and that's what all we ask people to do. And so we just serve as a catalyst to remind you to get out there, walk your daily mile, and talk to a friend.
Are your YouTube videos longer than the podcast?
Nope, now we got no video feed.
I wonder if he's trying to go to his iPhone. He said he was going to try that.
Yeah.
I know it was looking a little choppy there for a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, some of you new guys that are coming in, scrolling at the bottom of their screen is a new website for us for some merch. Okay, there he is.
Can you hear us, Danny?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Loud
Yeah.
and clear.
Yep. Yeah, you sound good.
All right, so I'm just changing it up a little
There
bit.
you go.
There we
Got you
go.
on my
There
iPhone.
you go.
How we looking?
Good.
Not as
Great.
clean, but all right. So for the audience, sorry about that, everybody. But this is how we troubleshoot.
Oh, yeah. It happens. It's a live stream.
I love it. You guys have the patience for it.
Oh yeah. So Scott, you was in the middle of the question about the YouTube videos.
Yes, I noticed on YouTube that some of your episodes were longer. Is the ones you find on like Spotify and Apple the same as the YouTube videos, or
Yeah.
those more?
So that's a great question. Our YouTube is the full episodes, so it's the full conversation. But you know, to be completely candid, I have a hard time listening to podcasts because they're so long. Now, to give you kind of an indication, is like I will go out and jog for 60 to 90 minutes and still not get through an episode of some of my favorite podcasts, and that frustrates me. And the other thing is we know that a lot of people have, especially people that are depressed, have a hard time getting off the couch. So to ask them to go do what I do, or to go ask them to do what some of these other fitness programs do, would be a lot. But we want them to encourage them to just go out and walk a mile. And so the 20 to 24 minute episodes that are on the podcast are designed so that you can walk a mile and listen to that and have a complete understanding of what our guest is talking about. Now, the YouTube stuff, that's something you can put on at the desk while you're sitting at work, and you have some good motivation going on behind you. There's a little bit of extra content. Eventually, we may, I don't know if we will, just because we like people being able to have all of the information that they can. But we may end up adding some new content that will be available like solely on Patreon and stuff like that. Because my wife is still going to be doing this full time. And, you know, she's an excellent producer. She's the one that tells the stories. But yeah, we on our podcast, audio only is the short episodes.
Yeah, I was just watching them on YouTube. I'm like, wow, these are longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff she leaves on the floor. And there's just so much good information.
Yeah.
You know, we've thought about doing more, but it's just like in terms of doing longer episodes. But people really love just walking the mile. That's a big enough ask for them. You know, what's crazy is if you ask somebody to take 20 minutes for themselves, they'll make up every excuse why they can't. I have a buddy that I was just visiting with. He's got a kid. He's got one on the way. He owns his own business, handyman business. And, you know, I was talking to him about just taking 20 minutes. And he's like, I don't know where to find the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You got to make the time. Yeah.
One of our guests is asking for this.
What you got?
There you go. What's up, Tara? So, what are some kind of give us an idea of what type of guest you have on your show? Just for the chat, like I know who's on your show. I've got some of my favorites that I'll mention later, but like how do you find these people? Like what stands out with them that you bring them on your show?
So my wife is the producer extraordinaire. What she does is she looks for stories that may be circulating, people that may have an account that's growing on Instagram or social media, and she'll kind of see what their message is all about. She'll look back through their history, see if our values align, see if they have something to contribute to the veteran community, and then she'll reach out to them and see if they're willing to come and share some or all of their story. So some of the guests that we've had include, I've had in the beginning and still do some friends that have experienced mental health battles or loved ones with mental health battles that they've helped. But for the most part, it's been veterans and professionals throughout the world. You know, some of our most interesting conversations come from veterans that are overseas because mental health is a worldwide issue. Suicide is a worldwide issue that everybody's dealing with. And I even tell the veterans that I talk with, I'm like, you know, we all know that this isn't just a veteran issue. We are just uniquely positioned to support one another. We have so many resources available to us. It's almost overwhelming what is there for us. Some of the guys that stand out in mind is a buddy of mine now, JP Lane. He's a double amputee Army veteran, lost both of his legs in Afghanistan, and he's now sponsored by Under Armour for running. You know, he goes out and he speaks to people, and he doesn't let it quit. Like, he doesn't let it let his amputations cause him to hold back from what he wants to accomplish. And yeah, him and his wife go through some hard times, but the outlook that man has is absolutely incredible. And then another conversation I remember having was with the first female Thunderbird pilot. She ended up developing a neurological disorder because through a tick-borne illness, and she then turned around and started a nonprofit to help raise awareness about neurological disorders from people that get bit by a tick and then end up suffering a
Right.
life-changing
Wow.
event, which is very, very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty incredible what people decide to do. And then, of course, you know, Navy SEALs, Blue Angels, just because I'm a Navy guy. But I love it personally when we have Marines on. Like, I just, because of my time with them,
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel most comfortable chatting with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you said you had a favorite.
I got a lot
two.
of favorites, but a couple of the more recent ones that come to mind is, well, this person was, I think, about a year ago. The blind contractor, the blind guy that's building houses.
Yeah, Lonnie.
That's right, Lonnie.
Oh my gosh, you got to listen to his full episode. If you guys,
so I didn't know there was longer episodes.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna definitely listen to that one because he was amazing. Like, his story was amazing, and his enthusiasm and positivity. Yeah, like, you got no reason. You got no reason to be on that couch. Listen to this guy.
he is incredible. You know, I before I talk to a lot of our guests, quite a few of them have books that they've written, and it's very autobiographical. So they're already telling their story. They're used to telling their story. And I read his book. And I'm a slow reader, man. Like, I fall asleep to books. It's just what happens. I'm a TV watcher, and I could not put his book down because it was so funny. It was so engaging. And then to come and find out the guy that caused him to go blind, he did, in the short episode, in the edited episode, I can't remember, does he talk about how he went blind?
I can't remember. The whole story.
He was hunting with a buddy of his from the Navy.
That's right. It was
and
hunting.
got. I mean, it was a Dick Cheney moment.
Yeah.
For those of you that remember.
Yeah.
But the guy that shot him was a former corpsman. He had my job.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, to be the corpsman doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another one, which
incredible.
A more recent one was I can't remember names at all, but or even their titles, but he's like one of the higher administrative people for Grunt Style, and his story of just like interviewing for like an artist job for Grunt Style, and then they turned him down, but they're like, hey, do you want a fold shirt? And he's like, yeah, like I got no job. So he started folding shirts, and now he's like a vice president, I think. Like, he's high up there with Grunt Style. Oh.
No,
Weird.
I'm guessing it's the same.
That is so weird.
This is super weird. I'm telling you, like, I'm not in a remote area. I'm not in a remote area, guys.
Yeah. Oh, we believe you.
So weird.
There's nobody out here. This is. I've never had this happen before. I'm outside now, obviously, and just seeing if this makes a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks nice out there.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Welcome to Hawaii.
What town are you in?
We are currently staying in a little studio in Kailua. So
Kailua.
the beach is a half a mile walk. And this is our little Ford Fiesta that we did our cross country road trip in.
Oh, wow.
So me and my wife, about 10,000 miles.
Yeah. But yeah, so like he was going in for an artist job at Grunt Style, and he didn't get it, but then they're like, hey, do you want to fold shirts for minimum wage? And he took it, and now he's like vice president, I think. He's somewhere high up there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the names. I mean, I can picture his face, I can picture the interview. I can't picture his name, but like Grunt Style is just one of those organizations, and I try to tell people all the time, like, veterans do amazing things to support one another, and so like, don't give up hope, you know what I mean?
Right.
An example of like you know, he wasn't so proud to take the best job. He took the job that was available to him and like made something of it.
Yeah.
And it's just that's these are the guys that inspire. I mean, these are the guys that inspired me to after suffering my medical condition 2 years ago. Like, these are the guys that are inspiring me to get back out there and just see what I can do. You know, they're so active in their communities. They are they're such strong contributors, and you know, it inspires me to want to try and do more.
Right. Yep.
You know.
Yeah, every one of your guests is completely inspiring, and you know, great guests. Like, you did awesome. Your wife did awesome in picking them.
She's incredible. You
even had the top PR guy from the VA on there.
Dude, that was such a surprise that he had said yes. We also have, like, we don't do political stuff, but we talk to veterans in all sorts of walks of life, and we currently have a governor say yes, and we're just working with his team to figure out when it can work from one of the states, and he's a veteran as well, you know. So my wife, she shoots for the moon on people that she thinks she can get on the show, and when Terrence decided to say yes and come on the show and let him know. For those of you that don't know, like, the VA has such incredible programs. I just learned about a new one today when I was in the doctor's office.
Wow.
What's that? What program?
So apparently they have an integrated healthcare team with every primary care provider.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I went in for my normal checkup. I'm back out here in Hawaii. I have to reestablish my healthcare team, and I have a new doctor, and kind of told him about my mental health conditions, my suicidal ideations, and my desires. And they were like, let's get you an appointment right now.
Right.
So that, you know, in 2 weeks you can have a follow-up for this. And I thought that was just the most amazing thing, because you hear the opposite all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what people do to get the results that they get that are negative.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a great VA here in Milwaukee, but I've heard from guys in Ohio and stuff just refuse to go to the VA because of how bad they are. I'm like, I don't know how that works. They're in the same system.
I've had headaches. Like, let's be real. Like, I've had headaches, but it's usually when I'm sick that I have the headaches. And like, when you're sick, it's already hard.
Yeah.
You know, so make sure that you try to stay as healthy as possible, and like, do your routine follow-ups, listen to your doctor, do the things to stay healthy.
Right.
So I have a request for your wife to get this next person on the show. Okay. Should be real easy. She's in Hawaii. She's in the reserves. Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. Get her on the show.
She's a tough one to get a hold of. So I had a class with her once.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. We were in the same online class at one point, and really delightful person to work alongside and learn alongside. But she's always so busy.
Yeah.
And she really counts her stuff. Like, I wish we were big enough to get some of these types of guests. You know what I mean? Because she's a delightful person to talk to, and her family is really involved with the AMBET Center out here on West Oahu.
She does a lot of great stuff from what I've seen. Like, I don't know her personally, but from what I've seen in social media, like, she does a lot of positive things. And, you know, politics aside, she does a lot of great things. You know?
Yeah, and does have a podcast as well.
Oh, she does.
Yes.
I didn't know that. All right, we might have to just look. We try to be super sensitive,
right?
Because there's just so many barriers to people getting help, right? And politics is a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true.
You know, If people knew that I was all a part of the Zoltar crew, they might not listen to me anymore. I don't know if you remember Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was their cult, Zoltar. All right, let's see if I can sit over here. I don't know what is up with our show this time.
So speaking of getting lofty guests on the show, Mike's been trying to get a lofty one on too.
Oh.
He's reached out. He's reached out to John Daly. Trying to get John Daly on.
The golfer.
Who's
The
John?
golfer.
He's a golfer.
What's your approach?
Well, I've given up.
Why?
He charges for those things. So
Does he?
yeah.
Oh,
But I've reached out to his manager. I've sent emails, social media. The funny thing is he follows me on Twitter. He has followed me since like 2011, I think, which is hilarious because I know like it was unintentional. But at the time, I was golfing a lot, like golfing every day, and I was like retweeting stuff, and I kept retweeting his stuff because he's awesome. He's a partier, you know, and he followed me. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. He still follows me. He's one of 50 followers I have.
You know what might work? If you could, there's those TikTok guys that kind of cat call at the golfers. Have you seen these guys?
No.
They'll say things like, have you heard of the guys that give the polite cat calling? Like it's these two guys in the middle of the night. They're cat calling at guys and girls in the middle of the night while they're drunk, saying like, "You look like you call your mother." You look like a man that opens the door for his wife and stuff like that. Well, there's a group of guys that do this to golfers, and they're like, they'll say things like, "You look like you own 3 houses in Connecticut." Get those guys who are already active on social media to come on your show.
There you go.
And then start talking about John Daly and what they would say to him in various circumstances.
Yeah.
And then maybe he'll want to come on and respond.
Maybe.
Got to give him an incentive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 guys we need to talk about because one's been on our show twice, and we were big fans of them during the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Joel and Garrett.
Yeah,
we had
right.
to talk about them.
I love that they overlapped our shows because like not too often are you going to get that kind of overlap. What was your impression of Joel and Garrett?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had Joel on a year ago prior to this because he's a Guinness Book record for his beard. Mm-hmm. And so when we found out that they were going to be on the Amazing Race, we contacted him right away, which they've already done it. But we're like, hey, man, we want to feature you every week. We're going to give updates every week, and then we'll get you on our show at the end of the season. And they did it. They played along with us, and it was great. Like, definitely, I never watched Amazing Race before, and I watched every single episode on the edge of my seat with this one.
We had to make sure we watched it before we did our show.
Yeah, so we can give updates. But great guys. I mean, I love them. I mean, they're just amazing.
How was that final episode for you guys? Because I mean, us as fans watching it, right? Like we know what they're missing.
Right.
So how was it having that conversation kind of fresh with them after it aired? Because that's when the world found out what happened with them. Like they were keeping that secret for a while, maybe except for their wives, I believe they had said, and the Amazing Race doctors.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I think it happened how it was meant to happen. I think everyone who helped them with the dog.
Yeah.
I think that just made that whole process better for them.
Yeah.
So I think that was meant to happen that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was heartbreaking for me, but my wife, she works from home right beside where I sit to do this. And we got a nice TV over there. So she's up here working, and she watched the episode before I got home. So I'm watching it, and I'm yelling at the TV, and then I'm cheering, and I'm yelling, and she's just sitting over there laughing because she already knew what happened because she watched it before me. And I'm like, that's rude. But
Oh no.
yeah, I was heartbroken. I mean, that 2 minutes or whatever it was. I mean, I was like, but like Scott said, I mean, all the fans came together and donated, and yeah, they're getting their dog and for his daughter, and it's great. And so, even though they didn't win, it was still great for them, you know.
Yeah. What really stood out, like the reason why we wanted to have backstory for me and my wife, she introduced me to the show. She's always loved it. Travel has always been her thing, and you know, I never thought that I would be able to give her travel because of my PTSD. And so, you know, being able to do these last 2 years really taught me a lot about myself and what I can provide to her. And so, like, I've agreed that when she's ready to submit to the Amazing Race, like, I feel comfortable enough that we could do it. Don't know how far we'll get, but you know, like to go do the experience. So we're 30 seasons into this show, and we have our teams. We have attributes of teams that we like and attributes of teams that we don't like, and it really comes down to how they support one another, not how well they do in the challenges. We think it's a very relational show, and that's why we asked them to be on our show. It wasn't like, oh, there's these awesome veterans. These are these two men that uplift one another. They went through a lot of life together. They do life together. They support one another. And one of the amazing things is when we had them on the show, they had said, and I think it was Garrett with the mustache, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Names are always hard for me. He admitted that he's going to start counseling through the Amazing Race doctor stuff because he's still having a hard time really processing some of the stuff that went around his decision to not change up the kayaks at the end of the show. And what was amazing is, one, how he came to the epiphany that therapy isn't bad. How it's actually good and teaches you things, and then you got Joel sitting right next to him being so supportive and just, you know, being so encouraging that he goes to do this, you know, because Joel loves him. He doesn't see anything wrong with what had happened. He had even said, like, this is just kind of what happened. It was meant to happen the way that things went down, and we got amazing support out of it that we probably wouldn't have got it otherwise. Like, we would have spent the money and the fans wouldn't have been able to be a part of this journey with us.
Right.
You know, so just who those guys were. And like, I want to see more people like that. Like the brothers that were on that season as well. They're military veterans. Leanne, we're getting in contact with them as well. Just probably towards the end of this particular season that's on right now. Because again, like their story of coming together is they weren't supportive of one another when they were younger.
Right.
And the show brought them back together, and they were always so encouraging of one another as adults, you know. And it's kind of like you guys. It's the way relationships should be. You know, you guys support each other. You guys support all your guests that come on here. I mean, your whole mantra of positive vibes only. You know, there's so much negativity out there that just doesn't need to be. We don't need to bring the world down.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing too about that show you got to watch. I mean, like Joe and Garrett, they said the father-daughter from Texas. You know, that show made it out like she was a holy terror to her dad.
Oh my
And Joe and
gosh.
Garrett, they said it was not like that. You
Right.
know, so you got to watch the production of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing it for views and and everything like that for drama. But they said those two were sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a shame that they exploited that. Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad. They exploited
That's what
that
I.
just for ratings.
JP, that is
Absolutely.
hurtful. JP, what? What are you talking about?
You need to elaborate, JP. Let's go.
We haven't seen him in the chat here in a few weeks. That's how he does.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's
Yeah,
really
so
funny.
I'm really excited to see Danny on The Amazing Race. So when's that
Yeah,
application going in?
yeah.
You know, we do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I've got to get at least 6 months here at
Yeah.
my new job
Yeah.
before I ask for 4 weeks off.
There's
All
our
right,
wine
there's-
friend.
There's our wine guy.
Yeah, well, I'll get it.
Ken,
Yep.
gonna be on Maui next tomorrow night, man. Gonna be at a comedy show at the Maui Gardens. I don't know if that sounds right, but you try to make it out.
And,
But at some point on Oahu, I do recommend this restaurant in Haleiwa. It's called
What is
Farm
this?
to Barn Cafe and
Oh.
Juicery. Great breakfast.
It looks like it. Hey, weren't you just out here in Oahu?
Last July.
Okay, it was while I
Yeah.
was gone.
Just missed you. Yeah.
Yeah, you missed me by like a month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, our nephew is stationed out there at Schofield Wheeler.
Okay.
He's a Chinook pilot. So
Oh,
we're
awesome.
out there visiting him.
Does that sound weird to say? My nephew flies helicopters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we raised, like our kids are the same age as him. And so they always went on family trips with us. And I still can't believe he flies helicopters.
It's
yeah.
it's weird when you got nieces and nephews that are like grown up.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how old am I? I have
Yeah.
a niece that just got pregnant, man. I'm like, how old am
My
I? now?
youngest is graduating college next weekend. So
No, he's not.
yes.
It's a lie.
oh yeah.
Yep. Yep,
Oh my God.
absolutely.
So I got a question for you guys. Probably been asked and answered a billion times before. How long did it take you to get to your length of beard?
Mm,
Probably a couple of years. Probably
Yeah.
2 years for each of us, really.
yeah,
To get
yeah.
to the
Mine's
length.
been
Takes about
trimmed
2 years.
How does
And
that?
what-
every 6 months, but
And what's funny is right as soon as I got out of the shower and did my routine tonight, I actually checked it. I'm a good solid 11 and a half now.
Oh, okay.
Wow. You're talking about your beard?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's 11 and a half.
oh, EP.
Man, I can't imagine. Like mine was like a half an inch at a 10-inch. I don't understand how that happens.
Your competition.
Like
It has to do with genetics and your lifestyle. That's what it is to me, Well, even Michael did that 75 hard. And what'd you
Mhm.
say? You think it grew about another 2 inches?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've started exercising every day, it's been growing. So, I was at terminal length of 14 inches for years. And then
okay.
in January, I started 75 hard. And, by February, March, I was like, wow, this is actually growing now. So,
Wow.
yeah, I think just changing lifestyle as well helps, like just eating better, physical exercise,
Water.
Lots of water. So
You pour water on it?
no, just drink it.
Technically, they say you're supposed to drink a gallon a day.
You know,
yeah.
I was, you guys are going to, my wife's already shaming me about this. So I was an avid water drinker, like drank as much as I possibly could in a day without peeing myself, right? And then I listened to a man on a podcast, and he was talking about, he was visiting with the tribe out in the deserts of Africa. And he said, these people travel 10 to 12 miles a day, running, sprinting, hunting, farming, have no access to potable water.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're running circles around me. I'm dying on the sideline trying to keep up. And so over the last 6 months, I've been, with my physical journey, Mike, I've been increasing my level of activity while decreasing my level of water intake. And I'm still peeing more than I've ever peed before. It's the weirdest thing. My body just does not want to hold on to water anymore.
Yeah.
and then I'm not consuming it. I'm having maybe 3 8-ounce glasses a day now.
Wow.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
eating
know.
More? Like, are you eating differently?
So I'm definitely eating differently. I'm eating. So back in September, I weighed about almost 240 pounds, and I had already kind of committed to being active for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. That was my mile-long walk, and so I had already kind of committed to one thing, and I was like, all right, well, let me commit to the next thing. Let me commit to a good eating plan. And I went to the American Heart Association, and I looked at what. Hydration level of food totally matters.
That's what I was getting at, like with your diet.
Yeah, so does the sodium level too, though, because sodium, your body will put away the water instead of use it. So I went to the American Heart Association and said, how much should I weigh standing at 5'8" tall? And it said I should weigh between 145 and 160. And I know like you tell a man that he needs to weigh like 80 pounds less than he weighs, and he says it's freaking impossible.
Right.
They're not accounting for all my muscle mass and my genetics and my bone density. Right. These are old numbers. But you know what? I said like let me just try to weigh 155 pounds. And so I set my caloric intake, because I've done diet programs that have made me like consume 1,200 calories in a day plus increase my exercise. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set my calorie count at what it would take to be 155 pounds. Like if that was what I already weighed. And that's what I've been doing. I'm currently down 50 pounds. I'm still eating what a 155 pound man would eat, doing it as cleanly as possible. Italy set me back a little bit because it's just pasta, gelato, cappuccinos, and pizza. But yeah, man, it's feeling good. So September to now, I'm down to 283 or 183, down from 235, and I'm hoping to be around 160 come August.
Yeah.
If things continue this way, we'll see what happens. But I feel great, feel hydrated. Went out on an 8.5 mile run this morning, and like it just feels good. You know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
last summer you couldn't run at all, and now you're running 8 miles.
Exactly. I could not run at all. No, I'm crazy though. Like my lifelong dream is to like be able to run a 100-mile race. So like I'm just dumb.
One thing I found interesting is because I kind of follow you I stalk you on Strava, you know, the 1 mile, and in the same day you would run in 2 different countries. It would say
Which
Italy
was
and it would say like a different country. Like I think it was just the GPS was messed up. Like you'd be in Quebec one day and then the next day in Italy and then back in Quebec that afternoon.
I could only imagine what people were. Well, there was one time we landed in Italy. We were there for 2 hours, did our mile-long walk there. And then we took a train to Switzerland to ski in the Alps. So we did a walk when we got there.
Wow.
And then we were back in Italy like 3 days later.
Maybe that's what I was looking at. Maybe.
But I don't know if I did. Did I start this? I feel like I started the Strava, back in like October? True North. I'm probably running about 20 to 24 miles per week right now. On a good week, I'm trying to get to higher double digits. But I'm just listening to my body. I keep the big thing with my running is that I'm trying to keep. Have you heard of Zone 2 training?
Hmm?
You guys know about this?
Yeah.
I think so.
So
Zone 2 of your heart rate? Like,
yeah. So keeping your heart rate nice and low. My Zone 2 heart rate is between about 130 and 150. And the really cool part about like Zone 2 training is if you do it for longer than 30 to 40 minutes, it starts attacking your fat. So like you don't need as much food when you have as much fat as I do. And so like that's why I haven't increased my caloric intake. I've just let my body kind of attack the fat stores. But as soon as you start going outside above that level, it starts breaking down your muscle. It starts you start needing more carbohydrates, so your diet increases. And man, like I just pay attention to my Zone 2 heart rate, and like that's how I get to my miles. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run for this long at this heart rate, and we'll see how many miles I run. Because I never want to break down my body.
right.
Well,
Yeah, no, like that's awesome. 80% of because like sometimes you want to go run fast. You want to show off like how cool you are and like feel good. But yeah, like 80% of the time you got to be on it. That's a good heart rate right there. I'm trying to teach other guys my age, especially like guys that have been athletic their entire lives, that their bodies are breaking down when they go and do workouts, or they were in my position where I'm 240 pounds trying to train for a marathon, and yeah, turbocharge. That's what my wife is trying to get me to do: lift more weights.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more calisthenics. I'm like, I want to handle my body weight.
yeah.
But what about you, Mike, man? Like, what are you doing then?
Well, my focus right now is just rucking. I'm just rucking
Okay.
miles.
I've been seeing that. You've been getting a lot too.
Yeah. I was supposed to be in a competition in a couple weeks. There was a ruck 5K, last man standing 5K, like ultra ruck. So every hour you have to do a 5K. And it's the last person standing that wins it, but it was canceled. So they just
How
canceled
can you
it
do
the
a
other day.
5K in an hour? That's 3.1 miles. How does that?
Yeah, that's no problem. Like you could finish it in 30 minutes, and then the next 5K starts at the top of the hour. So like it starts at 6 a.m. You do a 5K rucking, 30 pounds, and whenever you stop, you have until the top of the hour to start again.
But are you jogging that 5K?
No, you could do it and walk. You could walk that.
How long are your legs, dude? What are you, like 7 feet tall?
Oh, they're long.
Yeah, I mean, just walking without jogging, like I can do it in 45 minutes. But there's
wild.
Much faster people than me. Like, I mean,
I don't know.
that's a 4 mile pace. That's a 4 mile per hour pace.
So you're going much faster than I. That's like kind of what I jog sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if my body's broken down, I'm jogging that. No weights, no shirt.
I mean, I'm a speed walker. Like I prefer speed walking over running. So
Gotcha. That's so funny.
I'm always waiting for my family to catch up.
Well, in December, if you're interested, there is a Pearl Harbor ruck with the Project Go Ruck. You heard of these guys? That's what they're going out to Normandy to do.
I carry a Go Ruck. Yeah.
But my wife wanted me to do one in Normandy when we got out to France, and initially, like I was saying, okay, we can do this. I was thinking hike. Yeah. That's what was in my head. I was like, I can do a 20 or 30 mile hike. Like, it'll just take time, right? And then I watched the video, and I looked at her and I said, "There's no effing way I'm physically capable of doing this." They start in the water in Normandy, and when we arrived in France, it was like 50 degrees outside.
Yeah.
It's so far north. It didn't get dark until 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Like, that's how far north Normandy is. And then you would start in the English Channel doing some sort of PT and then go ruck. And I was like, no way. But they have a Pearl Harbor one too. If you went to
that you start
exactly. I don't know what they do out here.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of like this overnight ruck thing that Go Ruck does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
They do stuff all across the country. Yeah. Go Ruck's like they have like this community that you can meet up with other Go Ruckers on weekends, and just ruck. So, but it's really cool. I mean, rucking really helps with, burning fat, with, minimal effort, really.
Absolutely. And for your audience, like I'm reading all the activities that your people are doing that Jason puts up there. You got a fit freaking audience. Like, I can't wait till I'm back in the 170s. I'm like I said, I'm shooting for 155. I haven't been that since like I was 19 years old. But you got some people that are, I'm gonna do a 50-mile run per week again, working back to it. Holy cow. That's a lot of miles in a week.
Yeah, Tara's a runner.
Yeah. How are your knees and hips now that you're down that 50 pounds? I mean,
I'll tell you what, man. My lower extremities have never really been a problem. I have soreness that I wake up in the morning and I walk like I'm 50 years old, maybe 80 years old. I don't know.
I was going to say, now, come on now, I'm 54, so that 80
maybe
sounds
like
better.
Now that I'm 40, like, I just forgot that I was 40. I was still thinking I was 20, and I was like, yeah, 50-year-old people are old. It's like, no, dude, I'm about to be 50, man. Like, no time at all. But no, so like things are stiff until I start moving. So like I try to do yoga in the morning, just 10 minutes stretch out, get my joints moving. And then if my legs are feeling up for it, I go jog, and it feels great. Like, when I was heavier, it was hard, and like I would get shin splints regularly and stuff like that. But now, like, as the weight's coming off, it feels a lot better. But I'll tell you what, man, like, because I also started calisthenic training at the same time, so push-ups, pull-ups, and stuff like that, like, I had never done multiple reps of pull-ups, and now like I'm doing 3 sets of 10 pull-ups. Those last 2 are kind of iffy, but I'm getting there.
That's awesome, though. Pull-ups are hard, man. Those are hard to do.
Well, and I have a back injury, so like I'm trying to work those muscles to just say, okay, like, back injury be damned, like I'm gonna strengthen the muscles and see, but I need to lose the weight and strengthen things,
Yeah. Even at my peak physical strength in the Army, like when I was scoring 300s on a PT test, pull-ups were still hard for me.
Yeah.
But
well, you got so much room to travel.
Yeah, I got long arms.
Were you even able to, like, did you have to tuck your knees?
Yeah, I didn't have to bend to touch my knees, right?
Okay. I was like, did they bring in a crane to like elevate the bar?
Right.
But yeah, Jason, man, I'll tell you, like, if I hadn't started with the walking, and this was like the wild part, like in Italy, my wife's gonna be putting together a series. We have a YouTube channel called This Is Mayberry, Mayberry being my last name, where we've documented a lot of our travels prior to moving to Canada for the month, for those couple months. And you'll see one of me in Greece at the top of a mountain, absolute full-blown panic attack, tears, probably snotty nose, just begging to get down. But when we went to Italy, like, that is the land of mountains and stairs. Hey, Mark. and we were just so surprised how much we were just crushing them, just walking up and down, no problem. Because of our mile a day walk. Like we didn't do a whole lot of prepping. I mean, for me, like I can understand my jogging, but like my wife's not a runner. She's a small woman and has to take like 8 steps to my 1. Right. But like she's just beasting up these mountains like it's nothing. And it started with just that mile a day. You know, it changed our mentality. We're able to get more work done because we have more time in the day when we take 20 minutes for ourselves. And then, I mean, Mike, you know this, it just compounds. Like once you start being active and don't let yourself stop, you can just do more the next day.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty wild. So are you thinking about getting active again? You want to go run a marathon with me, Jason?
Running, I hate running. I mean, I played baseball and football and I wrestled when I was in school. And all the time we were running. And I'll never forget, when I was 12 years old, was my last year of football for the Pee Wee League. They had a weight limit. You know, you had to be under a certain weight. And if the opposing team felt you were overweight, they could make you weigh in before the game, you know. And that weight was 125 pounds. And there was probably half a dozen of us that had to watch our weight. And I made the comment to my one coach one time, you know, he was making us run. And I said, you know, being a smart 12-year-old that I was, knowing that muscle weighs more than fat, I told him, you know, you're making us do all this running. It's going to make our legs stronger and our leg muscles stronger. And your leg muscles is one of the biggest muscles in your body. I said, so we're actually putting on weight, you know. And he goes, keep running. But you know, no, I'm no runner. And the thing that I asked about the hips was just last Saturday, me and my wife, we went down to Pittsburgh. We wanted to, well, that's when I went, and these guys know I had posted it. I tried this Beato's pizza, which is a cold topping pizza. They cook the crust in the sauce, but then they put raw cheese and pepperoni or whatever you want. Everything else is cold. And it was good, but you know, it was hard to eat because nothing was melted, so it kept falling off. But anyway, so then we went to IKEA, and we went to Duluth Trading Company store, and we went to a Range USA, a gun store, you know. And by the end of the day, I was feeling it in my hips, you know. And I always feel it in my back too, like for standing, because she'd be walking around and I'd just be standing there waiting, you know. But I'm like, when you were talking about your hips, that's kind of why I asked. You're motivating me to, maybe I need to do this mile a day, at least to get started. It's
easy. It's simple enough and doable enough. It took a mental commitment, and like,
yeah,
I mean, I had to pull some mental judo on myself to get me to do it every day. And now that I have a streak going, I can't imagine not doing it. But it's funny that you talk about the hip stuff, because like walking, you're swinging your legs and your hip flexors are very much involved. And I remember the first time I brought my wife on an 8-mile walk, because she hikes. Like she'll do an 8-mile hike. Your legs are doing different things, but when you're walking, you're doing the same repetitive motion over and over and over again, and that's going to start to wear and fatigue on you. And that's why I also tell people, stop at a mile. You don't need to push your body. You don't need to push your limits in order to gain muscle, gain strength, gain stamina. If you stop before you ever get tired, the next day you can go do more and still not get tired.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's one thing. I mean, I'm a blue collar worker. I work 9 hours a day. You know, if I need to shear a sheet of 1/4 inch steel, a 4x10 sheet of 1/4 inch steel weighs 400 pounds, and I'm sliding that onto the shear, and I'm lifting stuff, I'm changing brake dies, and doing some hard stuff. And what's funny now, my youngest daughter, who's 17 now and is a senior, well, she's going to be 18 in June. This is her last year of school, but she's up there now working part-time, and she's learning. She's starting to see what her dad goes through every day, So I come home, I'm tired, I'm whooped, And now we're starting to get heat, and it's going to be in the warmer months. And I'm like, I come home, I'm sweating and I'm tired, I'm beat, and I just don't feel like it. But I think I have to, because I do strenuous things, but it's not like a workout, it's not it's something I just have to do every day. And, even lifting heavy stuff, I just pick it up once, it's not like I'm doing reps or something, But,
Can I share with y'all kind of what I do? Because I hear you, like, at the end of the day, I don't want to do anything. And I usually don't. Like, like I said, I like watching TV and movies. Like, I like laughing and putting on Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Office or something like that. And just kicking back. Like, my body's sore and whatnot. So back in Greece, or back in France, I got really depressed when we started this whole thing. Showing up to Normandy, visiting all the major cemeteries where Marines and soldiers lay, had an unreal effect that I did not anticipate on my psyche. And then not having my support group anywhere nearby other than my wife, and we were living out in the countryside of Normandy where nobody spoke English, not even our Airbnb host. So I couldn't even talk with anybody other than my guests and my wife. So I was laying in bed every single day unless I had to get to work. Pulled the curtains, and I was freaking depressed, man. And we almost called it quits. We were ready to head home. And by the grace of God, my sister-in-law and best friend were honeymooning in Paris at the exact same time we were in Normandy, and they invited us over there and to hang out with them. And so we went and we hung out with them, and my best friend, who's been part of my recovery process for the last 13 years, brought me to a meeting and kind of reset me, hit the reset button. And since then, I went back to some foundational stuff to start my day. So I start my day very specifically, very intentionally. And part of that beginning ends with a walk. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I read. I read something that's going to motivate me. I read something that's positive. 5-10 minutes of reading. I do that. And then I ask myself, I inquire. I say, hey, and now I pray to God. I say, God, how can I be as maximum service to you today? So that people can come to know your love through my actions. That's my daily question. That's my daily inquiry. After that, I sit in silence it used to start at 2 minutes. Now it's up to 20 minutes. Can you believe it? I freaking sit not talking or listen to anything for 20 minutes in the morning. And I don't fall back asleep. It's the weirdest thing. I've taken steps to get there, but it started at 2 minutes, and it started with a guided meditation. But I sit there and I just listen. And I listen to what comes to mind. And then afterwards, like, I energize my body. I get up and I walk for 20 minutes. And that's it. I get it done first thing. Like that 30-minute routine first thing in the morning was the start of breaking me out of a depression, breaking me out of old habits, and starting me on a new path. Now my morning routine has gone from 30 minutes to about 2.5 hours because it's just so good. I wake up earlier so that I can have more time to just be with myself. And I freaking love it. And then, like, I have more energy throughout the day.
Right.
This morning I woke up at I woke up 12 hours ago, 3:30 in the morning here in Hawaii. And like, I'm still feeling energized from this morning routine. It's very simple acronym: RISE. Read, inquire, silence, and energize. But like, if you can't take that 20 minutes, because you can do all 4 of those things while walking 20 minutes too. You can listen to something inspirational. You can read something inspirational on your way out the door. It could be a Post-it note you put in the doorpost that says, "I'm going to do good today." Right? And you read that and you go, okay. And then you walk out the door and you say, "How am I going to do good today?" And then during the next 20 minutes, you just be quiet and you walk and you listen. And there you go, man. Now you're coming home. You're not sore. You're actually you have a little bit more energy to make your breakfast, pack your lunch, and get out the door for work.
Well, that's like Mike. I think it was Mike, posted in his story a couple days ago. I think it was you, right, Mike? It was a list saying the reasons why you might feel bad or feel crappy.
Yeah.
About watching TV and drinking pop and doing this. Now, I don't drink much pop. I drink a lot of water, but he did that list, and I'm like, I feel crappy, I feel, and I don't like waking up in the morning. I'll hit that snooze 4 times, before I get up. But I got my alarm set early enough so that when I do hit the 4 snoozes, I'm not late, But yeah, I don't like getting up in the morning, and I feel crappy. And
where's your alarm at? Because I'm the same way. Where's your alarm at? Like, I hit the snooze if the alarm's within arm's reach. I actually had to put it in another room to go walk to it.
Yeah.
Well, what I do is it's my phone, and I got my phone plugged in on my little end table, and when it goes off the first time, I pull it over beside my pillow, and I just keep it.
Yep, man, it's time to put that phone in another room of the house.
Yeah, I actually have an app where it makes you do like math problems. So
turn it off.
You have to wake up. Yeah, to turn.
Oh wow!
Hit snooze. You would have to do a math problem, like 3 math problems.
That's great.
Wow.
And that's normally enough to wake you up. But I only allow myself to hit snooze once.
No, I'm like Jason. I'll hit it over and over and over again.
Well, I would if I would let myself get there.
It was funny. I remember one time I put it. We were staying in a loft apartment, and I put it downstairs, and I had so badly wanted to roll over and hit the snooze button, and I was like, okay, well, and sometimes I'll just put it across the room, and I'll go hit it, and then I'll walk back and cuddle with my wife. But this time, because I knew that I did that, and I knew that I wanted to wake up in the morning, and it's like, how bad do I want to wake up in the morning? Right now, it's really badly. So I put it downstairs in the loft. I almost fell down the stairs. I just forgot that it was there. So I just started walking towards the noise.
Right.
And talk about that 80-year-old man legs too. Like trying to go downstairs with 80-year-old man legs it was an adventure. But by the time I got there, kind of to your point, Scott, it was enough to wake me up. I was like, I'm downstairs. My legs are loosened. All right, time to start reading.
Yeah, and just the only thing other to add, like that RISE program is great. And in order to kind of do it, you can't just do it for a couple days and you're going to feel great. You really need to commit to a certain amount of time, at least 30 days. Make yourself do it for 30 days in a row to develop that habit. And the 75 hard program, the reason why it's 75 days is because that the person that made that program believes it takes 75 days to develop that habit of healthy things. So, there's different theories, 21 days to build a habit, but at least 30 days to get the habit in every day. Walk, that 1 mile, or I often, prescribe my patients 30 days every morning or 30 minutes every morning. Walk for 30 minutes every morning. Go outside and walk for 30 minutes. That's part of your recovery.
What do you tell people when it's too cold? When they're like, it's too cold or it's too hot? Because I've been getting that a lot lately. And I'm sorry, I did this. I did this in Canada, in snowstorms in Canada.
Bundle up, put layers.
You don't have an excuse.
I mean, when I did 75 hard in January, I mean, it was getting to negative 30 out. I did not want to go out, but I was committed to the program, which forced me to go out. I put
Yeah.
layers and layers. I had a face mask on, like, but it felt great afterwards. Even though like you had to do all that and get out in the cold, you're not cold if you're dressed warm. You know, like it's not that bad if you're as long as you're dressed appropriately.
Yeah. So I part of my process that I had to recover from this past year was identity, because I was really good at meeting goals. Like goals was something I could do. You know, it helped me complete a few marathons. I won a karate war tournament in my weight class or in my skill level. You know, I've gotten the jobs. I've gotten an undergrad and master's degree. Like goals were always doable.
Mm-hmm.
But this past year, I had to change my identity. Like goals were just no longer effective. I had to start telling myself who I am. You know, and part of who I am is I'm the host of 1 Mile, One Veteran podcast, and the host of that show freaking walks a mile a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't matter the circumstance, you know.
Right.
And I do that because I want other people to experience the freedom that I've experienced as a result of embracing my mental health challenges.
Well, yeah, you can't preach something if you can't do it.
Yep. Exactly. I was like, because prior to that, like I would do it occasionally. Like I was doing other stuff. I was running. I wasn't walking a mile a day. I was running. I was lifting. I was doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was meeting my goals, but I was asking people to just start small.
Right.
You know. But how about you, man? Like, are any of you guys like identity driven or goal driven?
I'm probably more goal driven.
Probably more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm probably couch driven at the moment.
Well,
I love that. What about anybody in the audience? You guys, identity or goal driven? Because like the other one that I tell myself is I'm a 155-pound man. That I ask myself almost daily, what does a 155-pound man eat? What does he do for fun? What does he do for activities? Like that's part of my thing, which means that, oh crap, I can't eat that much food. I can't eat. So like my wife and I, you know, when we'll get a pizza, she eats a slice and I eat the rest. Like that's how I would do it, you know. I finish her meals too.
Well, yeah. I'm on I don't know what, can't remember what it's called now. A shot for diabetes, but it keeps my hunger low. So it's been interesting, especially as they up the dose.
Oh, how was that? I've heard about it, but
yeah, it's different. It takes some getting used to. But for the most part, it's doing pretty well, as long as I behave myself.
Yeah,
what happens?
Yeah, that's it.
What happens if you end up like eating beyond? Does it affect you? Because I know like years and years and years ago, I was on Chantix for tobacco cessation to quit smoking while I was in the service, and like if I smoked, I would feel ill.
Well, you kind of feel ill. You feel extremely overfull and yeah,
like that distended abdomen, like it hurts.
Yeah.
And if you eat too much, it can make you throw up. Wow.
Yeah, I've never had that reaction, but I've heard
that's pretty drastic. Oh man.
But normally it's not too bad.
Yeah. And something my dad, he had lost some weight a couple years ago. He got on the Ozempic, and he had lost some weight, but like one thing the doctor told him, you don't have to eat at 7 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, you know. Eat when you're hungry. If you're not hungry at noon, lunchtime, don't eat, you know. And you don't have to eat a lot. Say it's 2 o'clock and you're hungry. Eat an apple or something, you know, just something to, you know, if you get hungry, or have a sandwich. You don't have to eat a 5-course meal, and you don't have to eat at a certain time every day. Just, you know, Because, like you said, if you're not hungry at noon, don't eat at noon. Eat when you're hungry.
Oh man, if I eat when I'm hungry, I eat everything.
Well, yeah.
I tell people I have a fork to mouth problem. I just don't know how to put the fork down.
Yeah. Well,
When I drank, I didn't know how to put the bottle down.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a
You know?
addictive personality?
Yep. Like that's why I do these long distance run stuff. I'm like, unless you take it away, like I'm just doing it.
All right.
Oh, I hear you.
You put a cake. I'm putting a. There was one time when I was 18 or 19 years old. I went over to a friend's house. It was like the day after Thanksgiving, and there was a couple of pumpkin pies sitting on the counter, right? Day after Thanksgiving, and I asked the girl. I said, "Hey, can I have a pumpkin pie?" Now I said, "Can I have a pumpkin pie?" And she said yes. So I think what she may have heard was, "Can I have a slice?" But I said,
Right.
"Can I have a pie?" And so, yep. So I ate the pie, and then her mother proceeded to yell at me after she realized one of the pies was missing. So I was like, "I asked for the pie."
Jeez.
I was like, "I would have only eaten a slice if you would have said a slice. It's not." But if I have permission to just eat whenever I'm hungry or eat whatever I want, like I just go all out. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I just I lack that self-control.
Oh,
Yeah, but have you found since you've lost weight and you've changed your caloric intake, have you found like your stomach has shrunk? Do you get full quicker?
No. So
No?
because I'm eating what I'm supposed, like the amount of food that I'm supposed to be eating, and I have it planned out. Like I put it all in a spreadsheet of how much food I'm supposed to be eating and when and where. If I'm on the road and I don't have my strict meal assigned to me, I can kind of pick it out on the right menus about how much I should be eating. But in terms of like my appetite and the ability to be satiated, like during my travel to the funeral last week, I just ate everything that was in front of me, and I didn't feel full. Like, and when I talk about this, like I will down a family-sized bag of gummy bears and a bag of chips and a Coke and an energy drink in a sitting, and just not think about it. I ended up, my wife and I ended up ordering some comfort food the night we found out, and I mean, I ate the rest of the pizza plus the rest of her gnocchi. So like I have to moderate. I know that about me. Like I know that if I drink, I will drink it all. So I don't drink. Like I just abstain. And that's kind of like that part of that identity thing with me of saying like I'm a 155-pound man. So I have to give myself permission on how much food I eat. And then if there's extenuating circumstances, like I'm at a friend's birthday party, I'll give myself a little bit more grace. You know what I mean? And I'll say, okay, like I'm here, I'm celebrating. I don't want other people to feel awkward. I don't want to feel awkward or limited. So I'm going to let myself eat a little bit more. But no, like my appetite is still there. My stomach hasn't shrunk. But my understanding of food has adjusted.
Yeah.
I hope there's other people out there that are like me that don't put the fork down.
So you do have to restrict yourself. Like you have to consciously restrict yourself during the day. Like
yeah. So yes and no. So like if I abstain, I don't even have to restrict myself because I don't think about it. So like now that I'm back, so like when we were in Canada, there was just foods that I didn't eat. Like I didn't eat gummy bears. Because I know that if I have a gummy bear, like I'm gonna eat all the gummy bears. So it's not about like restricting. It's just that's just not part of my dietary plan. Just like alcohol is not part of my dietary plan. I don't think of it as restrictions. I think of just some people are allergic to strawberries, so they don't eat strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like this is just what I eat, and I love what I eat. Like I get to eat chicken and eggs and honey and chocolate and all sorts of goodies. That's all part of my diet plan. But man, it's it's for me. It's kind of moderated out. What about you? Like, do you restrict or do you?
When my wife will send me to the local Walmart to get a few grocery items, and part of my payment for doing this task is I go through the candy aisle.
Oh yeah.
And I get an extra large candy bar, whether it's either a big Reese's bar or it's lately it's been the Cadbury Caramello bar, and they're about that big. So that's part of my payment for doing this task, and then it's about a 5-mile trip from my house to the store, and it's gone before I get home, because I don't want no evidence that I got a candy bar and I didn't have one, So
She doesn't know about this.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where that chocolate wrapper came from. That must have been you. That's too funny. No, I don't know how many people can't relate to that.
Right. Yeah, man. The reward for going to the grocery store is that chocolate bar. Me, it was a big cup, Reese's big cup, 2 of them. A package of 2.
Yeah, my big weakness. Yeah, man. Package of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, my big weakness is dark chocolate bars.
Oh yeah. Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like bitter things,
Yeah.
So I just try my best to stay away from it. But whenever I find a new dark chocolate bar, like when we were traveling the world, and those were things that my wife let me get when we were in different regions of the world, because like she knew, like I'm gonna sample chocolate from all over the world, and it's freaking delicious. But then I started adding in like energy drinks to my grocery store pickup, and then I would try to drink it before I got home.
Here's another story. Okay, last Saturday when we were at IKEA, they got them sandwich cookies. It's got the little raspberry heart on it or whatever. IKEA's got snacks. They got chocolate bars and stuff. So I always got to get the little pack of these cookies. So I grab my pack of cookies, and my wife grabs hers. I think she gets the chocolate ones. Well, then she's looking. She picks something else up. I said, "Oh, you're getting 2 things." I said, "Well, then I looked and I picked up a candy bar." Then she got something else. I said, "Oh, so I get something else." So I picked up these gummies, and these gummies were supposed to be cola flavored, and they kind of tasted like Coke, but. Yeah, so I think I wound up getting 3 things, and she did get 4. But every time she picked something else up, I said, "Oh, I get something too," So yeah, it was funny. But as soon as we got in the car, I grabbed them gummies and I opened them up, and I mean they were a little bag, not a family size bag like you said. But I ate them all,
Yeah. I years ago, I ended up getting sick off a bag of candy corn. Because I just
ate too much.
Just didn't think about way too much, and it happens so quickly. Like I personally don't realize how much is gone. Like my stomach just doesn't stop.
I've been there.
I don't know if anybody's ever called you a Hoover, but like I just suck down the food on the plane. Like
I used to be called the finisher. I mean, even when I still lived at home, and my mom would cook dinner, and once everybody ate, if there was anything left, I usually finished it. So they started calling me the finisher. So
wow, yeah, I just don't have I don't have that stop mechanism in my mind.
Yeah.
When I did 75 hard, you have to pick a diet, and I didn't pick a specific diet, so I just chose what I knew was kind of killing me. So my diet was no candy, no cookies, no cake, and no ice cream. Those 4. So none of those things for 75 days. And when I got done with the 75 days, I wasn't even craving any of those things. But since then, so it's been a couple months since I've stopped the 75 hard. And I haven't had like a specific diet, but I haven't gone back to eating those things every day. But there have been occasions where I'll buy like a dozen cookies at the store and eat like half of them, you know?
Yeah.
And then I feel like shit. Like I just feel so shitty. Just all that sugar, like all that stuff. And it's like, I don't need this again, you know? And then it'll be like another couple of weeks before I like eat another cookie. But yeah, I mean, just detoxing from that stuff really helped to where I'm not eating it every single day. And as long as I don't make myself eat it every single day, I could probably stay away from it and just have it as a treat, you know, like just have it as a occasional. And one thing about dark chocolate, like the higher percentage of dark you get, like the 80 and above, that keeps me at bay. Like, and it's not that bad for you. Like I have like one little square of it and it kind of, you know, takes care of my sugar craving or whatever.
It's delicious. I'm glad that you can do a square because I say that I'm going to do a square, then I do a row, and then I'm like, okay, one row right now. I'll save a row for tomorrow. And then within 30 minutes, the whole bar is gone, and my wife's looking at me, and I go, well, it was only 250 calories.
Right.
And then I get another way. And so like, for me, especially when I'm being very strict, and I'm not strict all the time, but you know, it's just there's just things that aren't part of my eating schedule. And like you said, those sweets are what's been really awesome. Like one of the best things about like this part of the journey is that my in-laws, my mother-in-law and father-in-law retired within the last 2 years. And, you know, that lifestyle change led to other changes within their dietary habits and fitness life, where they ended up putting on weight and just were having a hard time. Like they didn't like the way their clothes were fitting, and they were just kind of unhappy. They went to my sister-in-law's wedding. They look back at the pictures and they're really disappointed with themselves. And as a result of like watching me go through 4 months near them with this diet, and they saw like how relaxed I was in different food settings and eating settings and whatnot. They actually adopted a very similar, and we don't call it diet. We're just like, this is our meal plan. Right. Because we're not restricting things. We're just saying, okay, what do I need to eat today? Right? Like, how much do I need today? Because a diet means like, oh, I'm being restrictive. But like, if you look at your meal plan as kind of like setting a budget for your monthly expenses, it's like, okay, this is where I can spend this calorie. So like sometimes if I do have a slice of cake, I go, okay, that was about 450 calories. That means that I don't eat this later on in the afternoon. Like if I spent money here, that means I can't spend money there.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing. It's just like, okay, this is where I decided to spend my budget. Like I wanted to buy a new game for my Xbox. So that means that like, I'm not going to watch a movie out at the theater this month, you know? Yeah. Still have a good life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, so like, I don't like the word diet in the way that we use it here in the States, just because it's people like are like, oh, I need to go keto, or I need to go caveman, or when I did CrossFit, it was like, oh, everybody needs to be paleo. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I just need to learn how to eat the right amount of calories every day.
Right.
And like, that's my habit.
Yeah.
You know, and then I monitor my weight to make sure that I'm pretty accurate with my caloric intake and deficit. Yeah. So, I mean, I managed to do a whole month in Italy. Came back at the same weight because I learned how to eat over 6 months. You know. And like I said, I was eating pizza, pasta, and gelato pretty much every day.
And you're running.
You know. I ran like 4 times in Italy. We walked everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was the walking that helped with the caloric burn. We were doing almost 10 miles a day out there,
Oh yeah.
doing like 20,000 steps a day. It was a bit extreme. Talk about some sore hip flexors, Jason. Like I was there were some days like we had 2 days during that entire trip where we just decided to lay in bed because we were just too sore from walking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. So what's next on the agenda with you guys? What's up?
Not even sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you not hear me?
I
No,
can hear
we
you.
hear you.
Yeah,
We hear you.
I heard that whole thing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's next on the agenda for you guys?
We've got one of the guests from the chat who's going to be on the show next week
Yeah. Bye.
down in Louisiana. His name's Will.
Yeah,
He's been
Will.
commenting here throughout the show, but
He
will-
bearded by you.
Awesome.
yep, he will be joining us next week on the show.
Did you, when you were in Italy, did you
Yeah.
get to Venice? Did you visit Venice at all?
We did. It was probably one of my favorite places there. There was a few there was a few places that really stood out in Venice.
That's a place with all the water, right? I think you froze.
Yeah. The one that's like sinking. The one that's sinking.
Does it? I mean, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one
Does
with
it?
all the water
Does
in
it
the boats.
smell? Yeah. Does
No.
it smell? I mean,
No, not at all.
no. I didn't know.
No,
if the water
no, they-
had it. You know.
So they dredge the canals pretty regularly. So they keep them pretty clean on a regular basis because there's so many of them, and you'll see like these cranes on these small boats as you're going through, and they're pumping out all the stuff that gets stuck on the bottom. So they're pretty systematic. I didn't know that it floods from time to time. So one of our first nights there, it had flooded, and it was really a cool experience to see. To like walk around, and you have to walk around on like elevated platforms because part of the islands are sinking, or not sinking, but like the water level is rising. But no, there was only like a couple of fishing towns just that had a fishy smell.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of any port town that specializes in seafood.
Yeah.
One of our people in the chat was asking where you're from. I don't know if he was asking originally
From the East Coast, but I've been on. Yeah, so True North Beard. I was born in Florida, and I've lived in Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, and Jersey, and then I moved out to Hawaii when I was 20 years old. I got stationed out here, and this has been home ever since. So,
not a bad place to be.
Not at all. I know not everybody can do it, whether it's finances or what they call island fever. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like back in 2006, I decided if I was going to deploy to the desert, I'm doing it from paradise, and I just could never bring myself to leave paradise.
He said he was asking because he doesn't get any accent
totally
at all.
by. That's completely by design. So, true story. When I was 12 years old, I was sent to live with my father and stepmother, and I was recently I had recently left Jersey and had an extremely thick accent, and I mumbled and I didn't make eye contact. So I would talk like this all the time, and I would ask for things like juice, and I would just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And can I get some food? I don't know, maybe. And that's how I would talk. And so my stepmother, for an entire year, made me make eye contact with her whenever we spoke, and then she made me enunciate every single syllable for an entire year. And now, when I'm around people with accents, I pick up their accents, and it's one of those very I like to do. Like, we were in Italy, and you will not know how much I sounded like freaking Mario speaking English to Italian people trying to order something off the menu.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
It's not so funny when you sit down on a plane next to somebody with an accent. Your accent comes out thicker than theirs, and then you have to decide: do I continue with the accent, or do I, or do I speak like a white boy again?
Now, I don't know where this comment is coming from, but he's a liar.
Yes.
He does have an accent.
Oh yeah.
What accent does he have?
Boston.
Okay.
He is
I
deep Boston.
So does he talk like this? Because all them Boston people have that real thick Southern drawl.
Yeah, no.
Just
Yeah.
messing with him.
And a couple weeks ago, we had that Cajun family, and man, talk about accent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Roy and his son.
Especially when they talk
Were they
Creole.
Yeah.
But for Louisiana, that was a pretty mild accent.
Oh, we're losing you, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I was getting lost.
Pigeon. Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. We're rounding 2 hours here.
Yeah. Yeah. We should be wrapping it up. So.
This is anxiety.
Danny, we're going to wrap it up.
Anyway. All right, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry about that.
No, man.
Oh.
We had a good stretch of about an hour, no interruptions. So.
Yeah.
I know, and then I had to come back inside. My phone was starting to die. So this has been a good run though, because you guys were our first podcast recorded. I'm out again, ain't I?
No, we got you. We got you.
Oh, we got you.
You're still here.
Okay. All right, good.
You're still
this
here.
is a good test run because you guys were my first podcast back. So.
Well, yeah, Danny, thank you so
do
much
it
for
here,
coming
man.
on the show again and sharing your experiences, and definitely looking forward to what's next for you.
I appreciate you guys. Continue following you. Hopefully, now that I'm back in Hawaii, I can start catching the episodes because it's before my bedtime now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck on Monday.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, y'all. Keep doing the amazing things that you're doing, and I love watching your community.
Oh, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jason, get out there, start walking, man. You got it.
Yeah. This is you're inspirational. So yeah, I'm gonna do something.
I appreciate it. It'll be good, man. That's awesome. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. I know your guests have been doing amazing. Thank you all for your comments down there, and Yeah, follow us at 1 Mile 1 Veteran on Instagram and YouTube. And if you want funnier travel related videos and content, go check out This Is Mayberry. You can kind of just see us traveling around the world.
Oh, some great content. Definitely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. My wife works really hard at it.
So, goodbye, everyone. We'll catch you next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will have Bio Beard Life on. Will.
You got to do the rock horn, the rock fingers, but do double. Well, you're doing the shaka on one hand. There you go.
Okay, bye, everyone. We will talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
There you go.